personal, true story that happened to me. This will probably be a shorter audio than the ones I usually do because there aren't a whole lot of details to the story, but it's still a bit unsettling nonetheless, so I'm going to give a bit of a trigger warning that if you are sensitive to just true crime in general, or just content that can make you uneasy and just might set off your anxiety if you're prone to paranoia, I'd recommend you skip this audio and go back to my roleplays. But if you like true crime content, then I encourage you to stick around and give this a listen, as you might not only learn something new about me, but get some enjoyment out of it, as well as the relaxation and tingles from my whispering, because whispers are great for relaxation and tingles. So this story takes place back in end of 2011, beginning of 2012, when I was just finishing up college. I was living alone in an apartment in a not so great neighborhood in the city I lived in. People were warning me when I was apartment hunting. They're like, why are you looking there? It's notorious for bad things happening and weird people and all this other, just stuff I didn't pay attention to because I didn't believe in, stereotyping neighborhoods. I felt there's good and bad things about every place you could live, so I got an apartment out in that neighborhood because it was a lovely apartment and it was very affordable for my budget. I figured, why not? It suits my needs. Might as well get it. And one of the features I really liked about this apartment was that the keys to the front door were all electronic and coded specifically to your key. The only other key that could get in would either be a master key by the landlord or maintenance. Those are the only other people whose keys would work to get into the apartment. So keep that detail in mind as I continue the story. Well, I'd say about 4 to 6 months into me living in the apartment, I was pretty settled. I'd gotten to know a couple of my neighbors, and I mostly kept to myself. I was at the tail end of my studies, and most of my classes were remote at that point and easy to finish up, so I just hung out around my apartment, finishing my classes and also working online, doing medical transcriptions. It paid the bills. It wasn't the best job, but it worked. And hung out with my cats and my dog, and indulged in my hobbies. I would watch my shows and work on cosplays, and I even did drawing back then. Can you believe it? I was an artist. I worked in colored pencils and ink pens and all kinds of stuff. Hard to believe now because I hardly draw anything, but I was pretty active then. And this is just to paint the picture that I was really settled and comfortable and content and just, didn't feel like anything was out of the ordinary. I just, it was a nice, comfy place to live, and I didn't bother anybody as I only left my apartment to run errands or visit family. I didn't really do anything. I didn't walk around the neighborhood or anything. But one morning, I woke up and something felt okay, something's happened here. Did the cats get into something? Did the dog get into something? Something went down, something happened. I feel like there's just something missing. And for a few minutes I couldn't quite pinpoint what. And then I went looking for my phone because it wasn't where I left it on the charger. And I figured I might have knocked it off my nightstand in my sleep. So I went digging under the nightstand, digging under my bed looking for it. And I searched high and low and couldn't find my phone. And then I went to see if maybe I left it in my purse, only to find, aside from a few personal items that no one would care about, like lipsticks and lip balms and a comb, my entire wallet was emptied. All my cards were gone, all my cash was gone. The only thing they left was my ID cards. And unfortunately, didn't get my social security card because I kept that someplace completely different. So, I'm thankful for that. Very, very thankful. But they got all my credit cards, they got my debit card, they got my cash. And they had my phone. And upon seeing that, I wanted to see if anything else was missing. But nothing else seemed to be out of place. It just looked like they went through my nightstand and went through my purse. But the thing is that whoever did this came into my apartment while I was asleep. Completely fast asleep. I heard nothing. I didn't hear the door open. I didn't hear the door close. My dog didn't bark. So she must have been really, passed out asleep. Nothing. Just nothing. And so whoever got in must have been really, really, really sneaky. And I was able to quickly, take my phone, take my money, and get on out of there. And the first thing I did was check to see if there was any broken windows or if my back screen door was broken or if anything was funny about the front door. Nope. Nothing was broken. Nothing was out of line. Everything was just as I left it. Completely as I left it. And one other detail is, I never ever used my back patio door. It was always locked. Always locked. When I took my dog out, I took her out the front door to walk her around the dog run in the apartment complex, this little park area. I didn't let her go out in the back patio because it was just too small. It'd be cruel to just throw her out there to do her business. She deserved a walk, okay? So, I never opened the back door. I never opened any windows. I just relied on my AC. And fun fact, this should have been a warning sign. Several times while I was living there, my AC would go out because someone would steal the copper wiring that was part of the external AC unit. But I figured that's something that can just happen in any old neighborhood because copper's copper and, people want to make bank. I didn't really think much of it other than, well, crap, now I'm inconvenienced and out of AC until maintenance can come fix it in a few days. Is what it is. But that should have been a warning sign. So, someone had somehow gotten into my apartment while I was fast asleep and stole a few things. Important things, mind you. And so I had to spend a couple of days securing a new was asleep. Because I should consider myself lucky that they only came in to steal stuff. I was right there, unconscious. They could have done something to me. They could have done something, essay-like, or unalive me, But all they did was rob me, so I consider myself lucky on that front. And then time passed, and nothing else really happened for another couple of months. I was still kind of on edge because I got broken into while I was asleep of all things, and how does that happen, especially when I have an electronic key door and I don't open my windows or my back door? How did someone get in? And so a few months passed and things were back to normal. And then I went away for a week. And I, took my cats to my parents' house to watch them. Took my dog to doggy daycare to be boarded, and went on my trip for work. And yeah, I was gone a week. And then I came back, and within a minute of me walking in the front door, I got this sinking feeling something wasn't right. And I just kind of walked slowly into my apartment, and I looked into the living room, and sure enough, my brand new flat screen TV was gone, as was my PlayStation 3, and my entire shelving unit with my DVDs and Blu-rays and such. Those were all gone. I had another shelving unit with my collectible anime figures and dolls and things like that, and most of those were gone. Nothing was missing from my kitchen, fortunately. They didn't take any of my appliances, so yes, I should be grateful for that. But then I went into my bedroom, and it was completely ransacked, completely ransacked. My clothes were ripped out of drawers and closets and just all over the place, and personal items I kept in my nightstand drawers were tossed onto my bed. They clearly tore the room apart to look for something. I don't know what they were looking for, what they expected to find, but I didn't keep anything valuable in my bedroom, so they were out of luck there. But they made a big mess. And then I went into the second bedroom, which I used as an office and a guest room. Because, hey, like I said, the apartment was very, very affordable. I got a 2-bedroom place for a really good rent. I should have thought it was too good to be true, but I was stupid and naive and young. Anyway, I went into the second room, and that's where I kept my computers and things. All of the electronics in that room were gone. My desktop computer, my monitors, keyboard, mouse, speakers, external drives, little flash drives, everything. Even the couple of externals I kept in the small closet in that room were gone. Anything electronic I kept in that room, even my alarm clock, were just all completely gone. And the worst part about that was that desktop computer is where I did a majority of my film work when I was in school. And those hard drives and stuff was where I stored all of my old coursework, my demo reel, everything. And that was gone. And this was before cloud storage was really a thing, so I didn't have any internet backups. Everything was on physical media. And that really, really upset me. So, I should have mentioned before, when I first got robbed threats and said they would, keep an eye out for me, but they couldn't guarantee they could recover my stuff. But they said they would tip off the local pawn shops that some stuff got stolen, and tell them what got stolen. So if they showed up at the local pawn shops, I could maybe get it back, but that never happened. Truth be told, the police were pretty useless for this. The only thing they were good for was being able to write up the police report so I could take it to my renter's insurance person, and they were able to go through the police report and go through my list of everything missing and estimate the value of everything, and after a bit of time give me a nice payout to cover the cost of everything that got taken. So I was able to replace most of it. Some of the collectibles weren't made anymore, so I couldn't replace those, and what really stung was I couldn't replace all my schoolwork. That's irreplaceable. Money can't replace that. So that was a real bummer. And then it hit me when the police were looking through the apartment and checking the doors and checking the windows, checking the back door. The back door was somehow unlocked. And I told them I didn't do that. I kept it locked, and they could see that, my back patio was, pretty much untouched. I didn't use it. And that got me wondering, okay, if my apartment is only accessible via an electronic key coded to the door, then it must have been someone who worked for the apartment complex. That also meant if they knew to do their big heist while I was away on a trip, because I didn't announce it anywhere ahead of time. It was the day before I left, I just mentioned on my private Facebook, oh hey, I can't see anybody this week, I'm going on a work trip, see you later, kind of a thing. So someone had to have been stealthily watching me for months, tracking my pattern, seeing my schedule, and timing it so they knew I'd be gone a while and were able to strike. And again, it must have been someone who worked for the apartment, because there was no sign of forced entry. They had to have had a key coded to the door. Isn't that a bit freaky? That someone who works for the apartment complex, someone whose job it is to keep the place safe and well maintained, would break in to their own, tenants' property and steal her stuff, both while they're asleep and while they're away. I was so glad I had my animals somewhere else, because if they had, left the back door open, I guess to help get things out of the apartment, my animals could have run away. And that would have been really terrible. So I was grateful for that. I was also grateful that they didn't get my laptop, which had some of my schoolwork on it. Most of it was my work, but still, I had taken my laptop with me, so I was grateful I still had that electronic. And after that happened, I was in a pretty dark place for a while. It made me very, very paranoid. To this day, I still have a nagging feeling. It's is someone watching me? Is someone listening in on me? Is someone tracking me? Is someone waiting for me to go away so they can strike again? Or do worse, is someone waiting so they can attack me? Because if I was already robbed, what's next on the crime list? The R word. Murder. Who knows? So, needless to say, I've been in therapy for a lot of years, and I still have those anxious useless. Whoever stole my stuff was never caught and never brought to justice. And the only thing I could do was take the police report and everything else I was able to gather up, go to the office, and break my lease. And I told them if they were to find me for breaking my lease, they would hear from my attorney. And at the time, I could afford an attorney because I explained to some family of mine what had happened, and they had money, so they even said I needed a lawyer. They would help me out, so I was like, yay. Fortunately, it didn't come to that, but I was like, I'm breaking my lease. I don't feel safe here anymore. Something really screwed up happened. This place is no good. I'm gone. Best of luck to you. And then I proceeded to, on every apartment review site, leave the most scathing reviews ever for that apartment complex, like the most scathing reviews. I even made a YouTube video on an old channel of mine that's long since defunct, where I went through my apartment because I had to document everything that got stolen. And it was basically like no one move here, no one live here in this apartment complex, because this could happen to you. And that video actually got comments from people who had also lived there saying, yeah, no, break-ins happened all the time, and all kinds of other stuff. Good on you for getting out. So yeah, lesson learned. If people tell you an area you're looking to live in has a history of not great things happening in it, unless you are absolutely desperate and you really have no other options whatsoever, don't live there. If you can help it, don't live there. Look for another option, because those bad things happening to other people in that area could very well happen to you. And I'm just glad the bad thing that happened to me was only my stuff getting stolen and nothing violent. Now, I have been a survivor of a violent crime, but that's a story for another day, my friends. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this entertained you, relaxed you, enlightened you, whatever. It felt good to get this story off my chest. It's been years since I've told it to anybody. It's, been healing for me to get this out of my system and let it go, pretty much. Once again, thank you for listening, and I will see you in my next upload. Love you all, and stay awesome. Bye, 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 bye. Nia, nia, ada, 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 ada. is appreciated.